Mr. Smite's Improv is a show about improvisation, or comedy made up on the spot. In order to keep the improv at the peak of freshness, it is harvested from local orchards until each joke is ripe for the taking. Welcome once again to Mr. Smite's Improv. This is episode 2, and I am your host and MC for this evening, Dreyfus Xano. Once again, Mr. Smite could not be with us because when I was talking with him, I made a "where's the beef" joke and he became insulted. Once again, we find ourselves in the lovely World's End Tavern, located in Shatrath. I've had to share the stage with Perry Gatner, but a guy's gotta make a living. In order to save time for tonight and further episodes, I won't be going over the rules and guidelines as I did in the first episode. Instead, I'll post a link saying what they are. Okay, it looks like my Suggestifier module is ready to go, so let's get started with our first game of 185 once again. As you'll remember from the last episode, the game of 185 works like this. I'm going to get the name of a random object, and using that object, I'm going to make a joke like this. 185 blanks walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "We don't serve blanks here," and then I will make a joke at that time. Alright, Suggestifier, hit me with a suggestion. My first suggestion tonight is a sheriff. 185 sheriffs walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "We don't serve sheriffs here," and the sheriffs say, "Well, what if we deputize you?" 185 sheriffs walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve sheriffs here," and the sheriffs all start whistling doo-doo-doot, doo-doo-doot, doo-doo-doot. I can't whistle. 185 sheriffs walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve sheriffs here," and the sheriffs all say, "Don, that's not very nice." Alright, time for another suggestion here. An anime character. 185 anime characters walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve anime characters here," and the anime characters all went "Ah-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da," and there was nothing left of the bartender. 185 anime characters walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve anime characters here," and Vegeta came out of the group and said, "This is so not over 9,000. 185 anime characters walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve anime characters here," and Yugimoto came out of the group this time and said, "Exodia, obliterate!" 185 anime characters walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve anime characters here," and this time Stinko Man comes out of the group and yells, "Double deuce!" And my next suggestion will be a cartoon character. 185 cartoon characters walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve cartoon characters here," and the bartender was immediately flattened by an anvil. 185 cartoon characters walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve cartoon characters here," and then Scooby and Shaggy comes out and says, "Zoinks! Ruh-roh, Raggy!" 185 cartoon characters walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve cartoon characters here," and then Snagglepuss says, "But we're just looking for root beer, ginger ale even." And now one more suggestion for this game. A pencil. 185 pencils walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve pencils here," and the pencils all say, "Well, no need to be testy." 185 pencils walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve pencils here," and the pencils all say, "Come on, let us in, let us in." 185 pencils walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve pencils here," and the pencils all start shouting, "We're number 2! We're number 2!" 185 pencils walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve pencils here," and the pencils all say, "What if we erase you? Then will you let us in?" Alright, I need to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more of Mr. Smite's Improv right here in Shatrath. Disciples of Faith, I've been tricked. As much as I can hate Azza, I wish she was here. I could really use her escape artistry. She got us out of some really strange situations. Don't worry, guys. The hats are gonna work. I can't believe Spiders actually believed Azza when she said there was such a thing as Taco Fest. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Cut, 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 cut. No, no, no. Wrong, wrong, wrong. It's supposed to be Lomieth, not Romeo. Lomieth, not Romeo. Where's my lighting? It's supposed to be darker out here. It's supposed to be nighttime. It looks like day. Okay, let's take it from the top. And we are back with more of Mr. Smite's Improv. I am your host, Dreyfus Xano. Hey, did somebody say Thunder Fury? I just got my second in Molten Core just the other day. Let's keep the show going tonight with a game called Slogans. Using the Suggestifier module, what I'm going to do is get the name of a person, place, a thing, or a noun, and then using that suggestion, I'm going to come up with a rejected slogan for that item. And my first suggestion for this game is a waiting room. Waiting rooms. Wait a second. Waiting rooms. Hurry up! Hurry up! Alright, another suggestion, if you will, please. The moon. The moon. Oh, this is good Gouda. The moon. As seen on Final Fantasy II. Wait a minute, I thought it was Final Fantasy IV. No, it's Final Fantasy II. I said it was Final Fantasy IV! If the moon really hit your eye like a big pizza pie, that would really hurt. The moon. In Dragon Ball Z World, when it's destroyed, the world can still survive. And that will do it for today's episode of Mr. Smite's Improv. I've been your host, Dreyfus Xano. And now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go take out Mr. Smite for a steak dinner. I mean, for a salad dinner. Vegetarian. Yeah, that. Good night, everybody, and stay tuned for episode 3.